In the Altadena area, please visit Neighborhood Servants or Pasadena Community Coalition on Instagram. The Wild Seed Collective is offering free grant workshops to businesses impacted by the LA wildfires. Find them at wildseedcollective.com. Fuller Psychological and Family Services is offering 12 free therapy sessions to people impacted by the fires who are unable to access care. Contact Executive Director Dr. Ted Koss at tedkoss@fuller.edu. Grief and Hope, the LA Art World Mutual Aid Relief administered by The Brick, is offering help to artists impacted by the blazes. Info is available at the/brick.org. On Instagram, Mutual Aid LAN is updating a Google Sheet in real time with locations, verified GoFundMe sites, and current resources. If you haven't done so yet, it's still a good idea to sign up for Notify LA on your phone for fire alerts and updates. Praying, advocating, and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
Monday. Thank you for locking in with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, where we are giving you the latest in entertainment news. You know, with a little attitude. Tea with receipts, we like to say. I hope you had a great weekend and you are comfortable. You got your earbuds in, chilling, and you are ready to get into these trending topics and headlines. So, as we like to say around here, you know, Andy is always on theme, and he hit us off with a little Boyz II Men. And that is because Boyz II Men is advocating for artists. They are going up against big radio to get some changes made at a federal level. So, we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Gilly. I don't know if you guys check out Wallow and Gilly. It's a podcast. Gilly used to be a rapper back in the day from Philly. Big Philly fan. If you watch the Super Bowl, if you've been watching Philly this season, you've seen him with the big Philadelphia Eagles hat, which I think looks ridiculous, by the way. He led them out of the tunnel at, wasn't it the conference finals? I believe he ran and led them out of the tunnel and things of that nature. And now he has a podcast. They have a very popular podcast. It's on Barstool Sports Network. And he said that he turned down Jay-Z's brunch invite for an interesting reason. And he has some perspective on Jay-Z and the Roc Nation brunch, which we know is defunct, but could be extended to any of the other events. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. You know, the case has gone to the jury with A$AP. He's facing a number of years in jail for assault. And, you know, there are some rumors about Rihanna holding it down for her man financially. And some of the fans seem to have a problem with this. You know, but that's what people do. So we're going to get into all of those things. But before we do, you know, we have a little update for you. We like to keep you in the know of things and not necessarily go all out into them, but just keep you aware. So, for example, do you have Spotify? Do you pay for Spotify? Well, get ready because Spotify is raising their prices. They are going up on the tier once again, like all the other various streaming platforms. Are you ready? And at what point are you going to start scaling back your involvement with streaming services or, you know, choosing only a few? Because at this point, it's the same price as cable, right? Also, a new movie to look out, Drewski, Kai Cenat, and Kevin Hart. It's on the horizon. The plot of it is under wraps, but rumor has it that might be some Project X type situation in the mix. So when we come forward, we're going to get into this Boyz II Men story. Of course, Gilly. And, I have a thought on Boyz II Men, but I'll save it when we come forward because I want to get your opinion. And it's something that I stand by, and it might be unpopular. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
They can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips, I am a revolutionary.
On Saturday, February 22nd, you are invited to A Night with the Panthers, a special fundraiser dedicated to supporting Black Panther veterans who now require assistance with essential needs such as medicine, food, and housing. These Black Panther veterans championed human rights, fed the hungry, educated the community, and stood as powerful symbols of resistance and resilience. Despite their incredible sacrifices, loving and serving the people did not come with retirement plans or financial security. So, now it's our time to honor their legacy and ensure that they are cared for with the dignity they deserve. You can help by attending and supporting A Night with the Panthers, Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Project 43 Team Post Center, 6841 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles. For more information, contact Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. That's Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Can your pad absorb everything and stay fresh? Always Radiant with Flex Foam can. Get up to 0 leaks, 0 odor, and 0 feel. Because Flex Foam is the only pad with a flexible foam core. You heard me, foam. Always Radiant is so thin, it feels like nothing, yet protects like nothing else. Can your pad do that? For up to 100% leak-free protection, try Always Radiant to see what Flex Foam can do for you.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580 for your entertainment news update. So I didn't share with you how much the new Spotify upgrade is. So it's $18 for the Music Pro tier, and it promises high fidelity audio, early concert ticket access, and new discovery tools. So if that sounds worth it to you, get ready to pay. All right, so here is my unpopular Boyz II Men opinion. I really like Boyz II Men. I really like Boyz II Men songs. But when you think about groups, right, and popularity, there are no Boyz II Men stans. Like, Jodeci has stans. Girls talk about being in love with Dalvin or Devontae. They had the posters on the walls and stuff like that. Nobody, New Edition has the Candy Girls. They're, in their 50s, like Any for Life. They got tattoos and stuff like that. Boyz II Men, though the most popular R&B group of all time by the numbers, right? Diamond and sales. They don't have stands like that. Nobody is like, yo, Wanye was my favorite. No, Mike. Like, nobody's having those arguments. Nobody is going to their concerts with their faces on the T-shirts. And I just find that interesting because so much of young boy bands, and really boy bands is a name for white groups. We just call them groups. So much of that is about girls having the option of the bad boy or this type of thing and the affinity. And it's so interesting to me that, obviously they had that back in the day, and obviously we've seen them get into some things. Sean had a spiritual wife for a little while. That's a story for another day. But it's just interesting to me that they don't have stands like some of the other groups do. Andy?
Okay, from what I heard, just to summarize everything, Boyz II Men, they weren't attractive enough.
That's what you heard?
A little bit. A little bit. They don't have no stands.
They don't have no stand. I mean, they are like
you
sold out
yes
shows.
Or no. You say yes or no.
What? Oh, you were asking my opinion of that.
Kind of, sort of, because what you just said. You kind of related them to Jodeci and
because
the
they came out at the same time.
They were goody two shoes.
They were on tour together. It was MC Hammer, Boyz II Men, Jodeci, and TLC. That tour was fantastic, by the way. And I am not talking about back then. They obviously had them back then, I guess. But in 2025, when Boyz II Men comes up, do you hear people also relating the crush aspect of it? You don't.
No, but I'll say this. When it comes to R&B music, we talk about the 90s. Mm-hmm. We talk about male R&B groups.
I mean, for
they
sure.
They do get mentioned, for sure.
I mean, for sure. End of the Road, that alone, right?
Yeah.
Motown Philly, obviously. I mean, there's so many hits. I'm not saying that they're not popular. I'm not saying. I just said they're the number one R&B male group as far as sales go.
All right.
Their concerts, even to today, are sold out.
Okay.
I am simply saying that in that conversation, what is surprisingly absent, what is usually a key component of boy bands, of guy groups, is discussion on who the heartthrob was and who, whatever.
That's for the ladies right there. Ladies,
chime in.
We need you to chime in because
I did not say anything. I just pointed it out. That is all. I just pointed it out.
Okay.
Right?
All right, so Jill, let me ask you.
What?
Do you find any of the Boyz II Men individuals attractive?
Boyz II Men is backed by over 300 artists, including Dionne Warwick, Gloria Estefan, and they are urging Congress to pass the American Music Fairness Act.
I think you answered your question.
So I didn't say anything. Those are all married men.
You answered your question.
Those are all married men. I don't have comments.
Hey, Beyonce's married. Jay-Z's married. People still gawk at Beyonce.
They
Maybe
do.
not Jay-Z.
I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. So what the American Music Fairness Act is that U.S. radio stations don't pay artists when their songs are played, unlike streaming services or international broadcasters. So they want to introduce a bill that aims to change that while protecting local stations with exemptions, right? So, of course, the National Association of Broadcasters is fighting back, saying that it could hurt smaller stations. But, the artists, they're saying that it won't, because they are going to protect them by allowing them a different type of break as far as this goes. So U.S. radio has generated over $10 billion last year, but none of that went to the artists for airplay. And we know there's the discussion around streaming and where artists get paid like 3 cents for 1,000 streams. We know that it's always been kind of the same with sales. But the question becomes, and this isn't about streaming, this is about radio. But with streaming, the question becomes, back in the day, there was a physical product. There was a physical situation. There was that you had to incorporate into the cost of putting out an album, a tape, a CD, the music, the product. So much so that even when it was shifting from vinyl to cassettes and CDs, retailers complained. That's why I don't know if you remember back in the day when CDs first dropped, they used to come in those long CD boxes. It's because retailers did not want to change their, what are the things called in store that you hold the receptacles that you put the stuff in? The product holders, they have CD ones, cassettes. They were sized for vinyl, but CDs are much smaller than a vinyl. So their store, I'm blanking on the term, I don't know why, but their store interior, not furniture, but didn't fit. So they wanted the labels to help them pay some of that cost for transferring it over. So it's things like that. So do you think, currently they are assessing that less than $2 is paid per artist for airplay. And they think that it should be more, and they say that they are targeting big companies, big corporations. So companies that own multiple stations across the country. We don't want to throw the names out there, but you know what I'm talking about. iHeart, those type of things. And those are the ones that they say they are targeting. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But I do think that we saw a reckoning as far as unions and so forth, and we know we have a different administration. But I do think it is high time for some type of balance that has to come into the music industry for the performers. Understanding fully well that when the label takes on your project, they are paying for the marketing costs, which can be quite expensive. Your studio time, they are paying the producers in advance, and you do have to pay a significant amount of that back. However, I do think that the artists are kind of, there should be some more parity in the situation. And I don't really know how that's achieved, but I do think that we're going to be seeing more and more. Obviously, the independent route is there. There are really no more labels, Labels are really tech companies at this point and distribution entities. Andy?
What do you mean by parity?
Just as far as I know, the labels spend a great deal of money on the artist, but realistically, right? You're not giving them a livable wage. They don't have health benefits, things like that, And they're in these contracts many times for multiple years, for 5-7 albums and things of that nature. Everybody's not Drake getting $400 million deals, So, and it's hard to make it in music. It costs a lot to break an artist. And I understand that. And I know that's why people are like, well, that's just how I go independent. Do you know how many independent artist songs are released a day on Spotify and Apple Music? Discoverability is a problem. So, yeah, it takes money to make money. But I do think that something slightly, whether it is a livable wage stipend or something, for the music artist. I don't know. Andy, you disagree?
Discoverability is definitely a challenge. I'm with you, but also think the music game is oversaturated.
It is.
So,
but
that's another challenge in itself.
Here's the thing, though. Do you believe that it is oversaturated because there are no more gatekeepers with the independent route, with the age of streaming and YouTube and the internet? Anybody can put out their music and see if the public responds to it, if they find it. But without that, there are a lot of artist development is no longer there. We see, just like, I was going to talk about All Star. I can talk about it now. Jello Ball did not do his thing.
Horrible.
And there was no breath control. You are an athlete, sir. Look at Sweetie. Sweetie got out there and was doing her thing. In Vogue, Too Short, E40, Bay Area Legends.
Put that blunt down before you perform, brother.
Or get in the gym and hit that cardio. Say your lyrics while you're running on the treadmill.
You're not hooping no more, Jill.
It doesn't matter. If you want to be an artist, you want to be a performer, you're headlining these things or going out, You owe the people a real show.
He probably was a little bit nervous.
I understand that.
I'm gonna assume
but
that might have
here's
been
the
his
thing.
first performance,
Right.
maybe.
But isn't he headlining Rolling Loud next month?
I don't know about headlining.
Well, not headlining, but isn't he performing?
Yes, he is.
He got a $8 million guaranteed deal. Baby, just like you got to get in the gym or get in the booth, get in the practice stage, right? You know you got it coming up. You know everybody's going to be looking. You know they're going to wait to crack on you. And if you want this to last, you have to be able to connect and perform in front of people. It's that simple. Just like you practice hoop, it's the same discipline required for this.
So, Boyz II Men, they're trying to work on a union per se.
Not a union. A bill introduced into the Congress, basically, that it's called the American Music Fairness Act. Basically, that would lock in, say that these big corporations and entities have to pay more of what they're deeming their fair share as it comes to artists.
That's going to be a challenge right there. I can already see it. We talking about big corporations. They're not going to want to do that.
So like Ledesi, Sheila E., they were some of the ones that testified before Congress sharing their stories about lost income. When I talked to Michelle Indegecello at the Grammys, she talked about how this resurgence and second part of her career has been helpful to her because she is simply an artist. She's not on streaming or things of that nature. So, I mean, we're entertained by them. And again, with the advent, music executives have been pulled away. I think L.A. Reid was talking about this on the R&B Money podcast. He's saying because there are no more boutique black labels. But I think in general, music people are being pulled out of these companies.
They are.
And they're tech companies now, right? They're about the data. They're about the algorithm. Mm-hmm. And
which I hate.
It just, it kind of makes things topsy-turvy. So let's get to some of these chats. Ola says, nobody's paying artists to play their song on the radio. Be happy you getting free promotion. And Ola also says, why pay you listen to what you listen to on radio? Where you think the money is coming from, better do some shows and get active. Well, all stations, I feel you on that. All stations have advertising. So I guess they're looking to the stations to pay more into, because there are royalties that you have to pay. You have to, we don't just get to play music wherever and not pay for that right to here at the station. We have to pay to be able to utilize the artist's music. So this isn't something that would necessarily impact our station, but for these bigger entities, they're looking for them to pay in a little bit more. And Ola says that they want money to blow on Diddy stuff. These artists sign bad deals and want us to pay for bad choices.
I also think, though, on that note, they bamboozle these artists, too. Because I think a lot of these cats, they come into the game, I got a deal, not realizing, you said it several times, Jill, they got to pay this money back.
They do, but what I can say, I worked in the music industry for a long time. I know a lot of people that were artists. You got to read your contract. And then, too, part two, to not even just reading your contract, have your lawyer explain it to you like you're 5, because you have a lawyer in signing all this stuff. Now, sometimes back in the day, your lawyer would be their lawyer, but we're not talking about that now. Have somebody break it down to you like you're 5 so you understand what you're getting into. But also, the thing is, people are desperate, so they don't care about what they're giving up in that moment. They just want to get on. And it's hard to balance with, this is what I need to do to get to my dreams and where I'm at today. So it's a tricky situation. DJ Black 909 says industry rule number 400, 480, record company people are shady. Yep. Yes. That has been, discussed time and time again. I mean, isn't that what our beef is sometimes with Jay-Z? If you think about it, when it boils down to it, right? Diddy, some of those others, it was claims that they did bad business, even though in a lot of ways, the way that they were rolling out business was the same industry standard that the others were doing. But, that's a conversation for another day. Listen, coming up, speaking of Jay-Z, Gilly had an interesting take on why he passed on going to a Roc Nation brunch and what he thinks Jay-Z is doing by holding these type of events. And of course, it's not something that we haven't heard before, but I just kind of wonder, was there beef back in the day? Is that what's spurring this? So we have that coming up for you, plus more trending topics and headlines. You are locked in with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
The abstract. And me the 5-footer. I kicks the mad style, so step off the Frankfurter. Yo, Fife, you remember that routine? That way used to make spiffy like Mr. Clean? A tidbit, a smidgen. I don't get the message, so you got to run the pigeon. You're on point, Fife. All the time, Tip. You're on point, Fife. All the time, Tip. You're on point, Fife. All the time, Tip. So then grab the microphone and let your words rip. Now here's a funky introduction of how nice I am. Tell your mother, tell your father, send a telegram. I'm like an energizer cause you see I last long. My crew is never ever whack because we stand strong. Now if you say my style is whack, that's where you're dead wrong. I say that body and El Segundo, then push it along. You be a fool to reply the fight is not the man. Cause you know and I know that you know who I am. A special shout out piece goes out to all my pals you see. And a middle finger goes for all you punk MCs. Cause I love it when you whack MCs despise me.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. The White House is marking President's Day by posting President Trump's mugshot alongside his official portrait, calling it a, quote, comeback, end quote. The 2023 mugshot followed his surrender in Georgia over election interference charges. The NAACP is warning companies cutting diversity initiatives, calling it a direct attack on Black economic progress. Their new Black Consumer Advisory urges the community to use its spending power to push for equity, criticizing the Trump administration's efforts to roll back civil rights gains. New York City protesters are demanding Black Mayor Eric Adams resign after corruption charges were dropped. They allege a Department of Justice deal over immigration. Adams denies it and refuses to step down. And Maryland's Frederick Douglass Parade has been canceled after the National Guard withdrew over its Black History Month ties. Officials cite Trump-era policies barring participation in events honoring individuals based on immutable traits. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Delays in South LA continue on the 110, starting on the southbound side past Florence. Express lanes have been blocked due to a crash with a backup from the 10. Northbound past Manchester, it's the 3 right lanes blocked off due to a crash with delays from the 105. A lot of people returning from the desert after this holiday weekend, and that's affecting travel on the 10 freeway. This is westbound 10, but delays from just about the 62 as you continue into Banning.
If you or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, Cal Hope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
For the first time in 12 weeks, UCLA does not have the nation's #1 women's college basketball team. Notre Dame is the new #1 in this week's Associated Press Top 25 poll. It was a fabulous run for UCLA, which started the season 23-0. The Bruins lost to USC Thursday night. The rest of the top 5, #2 Texas, UCLA drops to 3rd, USC moves up to 4th, and UConn moves up to 5th. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said the league will continue sponsoring the HBCU Classic during All-Star Weekend. Tuskegee beat Morehouse 68-55 in Saturday's Classic in San Francisco. This was the 4th year the NBA has featured the HBCU Classic on All-Star Saturday. The NBA covers all expenses for the 2 schools, the players, staff, cheerleaders, and the band. Next year's NBA All-Star Weekend will be at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's KBLA Talk 1580's 3rd annual Black History Month luncheon, and you're invited. This is year 2 of our climate justice work, and this year's $2 million 12-month campaign is all about linking and combating the relationship between climate and Black health. We already know that these wildfires will leave in their wake even greater inequities, including negative impacts on Black health, given the toxic air pollutants circulating in the air we breathe. So, as part of this year's climate campaign, we're honoring Black doctors and leaders in healthcare at our annual Black History Month luncheon, Friday, February 28th at noon. If you would like to join us, just go to our KBLA 1580 website and register for your chance to be our guest at the luncheon. We'd love to see you. And in case you haven't heard the news, KBLA Talk 1580 was just named one of the semifinalists for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah. Got a little closer, baby. Yeah. Yeah. We stuck in La La Land. Even when we win, we gon' lose. We got the same flows. I don't know who is who. We got the same watch. She don't got time to choose. We stuck in La La Land. We got the same fools. Y'all from the same.
Welcome back in. You were locked in with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Andy, you have to educate me.
I'm on the enough for this.
Star 444. Moonlight, Jay-Z.
Okay, so clearly I didn't spend much time with 444. That was one time, one and done. Except for the OJ song?
The story of OJ.
Yeah.
People familiar with that one.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like I listened to that album once and was like, it's cool. And kept moving.
Had a couple tracks on there. It's cool.
Okay. Shout out to you, keeping us in tune, keeping us true and honest to our roots. So listen, I forgot to tell you, but if at any time you want to call in and get in on this conversation, 800-920-1580. Of course, hit us up on all our socials, KBLA 1580. Me personally, I'm at Stiletto Jill. Holla at your girl. Now, Gilly. Their podcast, Gilly and Wallow's podcast, is very popular, very entertaining. It is, definitely from the perspective of two guys that spent some time early in hip hop, have been, not Gilly, Wallow, incarcerated, but have made their dreams come true, made a positive change, and just talk about their experiences. And they've been through some things. So Gilly was recently on Club Shay Shay. Shannon's always going to get people to open up. And he was discussing why he turned down Jay-Z's Roc Nation brunch invite. And in his eye, he said that Hov only shows love to billionaires and that he doesn't want to pretend to like people and to be in other people's life just for social media. So let's hear what he had to say.
They call us, right? They say, Gilly, we want to invite you to the Roc Nation brunch. I'm the that said, why would I want to come? Why wouldn't you want to come? I said, you want me to keep it real with you, or you want me to lie to you? Keep it a buck. I said, the Roc Nation brunch ain't nothing but Jay-Z putting a bunch of on the lawn and then going in the back door and saying, I told you I still run this Give me the money. Wow. You think I'm letting her use my brand? I don't let nobody allow to use my brand with their brand. What do you get from going to these parties except for a picture? Don't even smile with you if you ain't worth 500 million or more. Let's be for real. The only smiling they do is when the billionaires in the picture. Look at all these broke ass on the lawn. Come on, man. I ain't with none of that shit. I don't want to party with you. I built the way for myself. I made a way for myself. I made my own way. Me and God, man.
So, I thought it was interesting because, one, a lot of people have felt, especially following Jay and Roc Nation and Apple Music taking over the Super Bowl halftime show. We all have heard those conversations. People feel that it was a self-serving move, some, and that Jay-Z spoke prematurely about Colin Kaepernick's kneeling, and that Jay really makes moves just to benefit himself, right? On the other hand, is it not wrong? I mean, is it not okay to want to celebrate your peers? People you came up with, people that are coming up. Now, it kind of got a little janky towards the end there because, things can get run into the ground, and sometimes you got to open up the guest list, and maybe the guest list isn't necessarily on par with what you want to present. But I do feel what he's saying about making his own wave. The only thing is, brand marriages work. And we've seen, and I'm not just talking about like power couple relationships or fake things, but we've seen when two entities link up and create a bigger wave, some bigger motion for both of them. And then they go back to their respective places and continue that wave. So I wouldn't dismiss it all the way, but I do understand his perspective. Andy, what do you think?
I also think Gilly rubbed shoulders with Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a little personal thing?
There's maybe a little bit of personal stuff going on. I don't know if he's actually worked with him directly, but I do know how closely tied he was with Cash Money, Birdman, and Lil Wayne.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know the controversy behind that, but when Lil Wayne kind of switched up his flow, started with the Carter.
People said he sounded like Jay.
That's one thing, but the person behind a lot of those lyrics was Gilly. If you look at the Go DJ video and a lot of those old videos, you would see Gillie Da Kid in the background. Okay. Even the chain that Lil Wayne had on, that was the Major Figures chain. That was a Gilly's group at the time in Philly or whatnot. So, him kind of like being a part of the industry and being behind the scenes of the industry, he knows how these type of cats are. So I think for him, he's looking at it like, man, I don't need Jay-Z's cosign. I'm who I am. You know what I'm saying? I might not be popping musically, but y'all know who I am.
I mean, they got a huge deal with Barstool Sports, right? And they have made a wave. They built their situation brick by brick. All respect due to that. But is this also the thing where we talk about where we can never work together and things of that nature? I'm not saying that this is what it is. I'm simply asking the question. Is this type of attitude one that prevails throughout Black entertainment, and we end up doing each other in because we feel like, oh, if I do this, it's like I'm kissing the ring or I'm giving them a better position?
I don't like the way you frame that question. I understand where you're coming from with that because the way I receive it, at least from Gilly's standpoint.
And no, I receive Gilly's standpoint, and I know what Gilly's saying, but by extension of that, is that type of attitude preventing us from working together and getting things together on a bigger level?
You gotta have integrity with your work and your grind, and not all money is good money. That's my interpretation from that. And I'm not saying that working with Jay-Z is a bad situation, it's a bad deal, whatnot. But just listening to Gilly, what he's not saying, he's just like,
there's some bad vibes. There's something there he feels away clearly. But the topic is interesting. Lucas Frank in the chat says, Black people don't understand that a guy making moves for himself doesn't prevent you from doing the same. I agree with that. But, much the rumors, but it's the rumors about all of them. I mean, they say that Jay-Z has done it. They said that was Drake was doing, that they blocked from behind the scenes. But is that just And I'm not saying it should be, but is that just the nature of business, especially in something in the music business?
And if that's the nature of the business, the business is grimy.
Now, when is it ever said that the music business wasn't grimy?
That's why Boyz II Men is trying to work on that act to support the artists.
Yeah, because things are crazy. Listen, when we come forward, we have more trending topics and headlines. We got a little Anthony Edwards update. We got an update on the new season of Euphoria, and there's a former NFL star that is going to be taking a role in the upcoming season. All that more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We are on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has work source centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, we got 3 more stories to break down and bust through before the clock strikes. So, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, we know that A$AP is currently on trial for allegedly, firing a weapon at his former friend A$AP Rocky. And, friends allegedly, according to the streets, feel that Rihanna is being a little too giving, and supposedly she sees it differently. Now, recognize that Rihanna is allegedly a billionaire, $1.4 billion from Fenty Beauty, Savage, all of those things, right? And so far, A$AP Rocky's legal fees have surpassed $500,000, and that Rihanna is allegedly covering everything from lawyers to security. As I said, closing arguments were dropped in the trial, I think Friday. And so we will have to see what happens with it. But, I mean, one, she can afford it. Not that that should be the thing. But two, they seem like a really good family unit. So I say, they said in court she was his common law wife. She's not his actual wife. And perhaps they haven't done the legal side of it until his legal issues are updated, right? That could have something to do with it. We don't know if there's any, restitution or anything that's going to come from this. So maybe she is protecting her empire. But that woman looks happy. And so until she says she's not, like the old folks said, if she like it, I love it. So go with that. All right. Next up, so Saturday Night Live just had their 50th anniversary special. And I know you've seen the clips online. First of all, why do I keep saying they? Not Like Us was the song of the night there. Yes, even with Lil Wayne performing. Will Ferrell and Anna Gasteyer performed it as their famous characters from the series. Also, Seth Meyers and, oh God, I can't remember who was rapping with him, but they did their own Mustard TV's Off verse, and all of that with Lil Wayne bringing it up and performing too. Now, Andy brought up something interesting. He's seeing a conspiracy theory in this. He thinks Lil Wayne was brought on in part to capitalize from the controversy of Drake and Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl the week before. But he thinks that Wayne did something I suggested Jello do, and he worked on his performance. He seemed to have breath control. Now, granted, that's not running across a football field. It's a enclosed space, a little tighter space. But would you say it was decent, Andy?
It was decent.
It was decent.
It was decent. Once again, the Roots performing, the instrumentation behind Lil Wayne's music, I think was a dope touch, because I've never seen Lil Wayne perform
with a band.
With the band. So I think that element is always going to make hip hop music dope. But he performed the hits too. He performed the million.
I mean, he definitely has them.
So if you like those songs, you was gonna rock with the performance. I think it was decent.
I mean, I saw Lil Wayne. I think I mentioned this at Amazon Prime. They do these Thursday night things after the Thursday night football games. So this was like a couple years ago, and although it was enjoyable, I wasn't like, oh my God, blown away. So there's that. Listen, DJ Black 909 in the chat coming through with the backstory. Gilly says he was blackballed after turning down Jay-Z and Rockefeller's offer back in the day. So that explains a lot. And he also says Gilly is right. Jay is exactly this type. Jay-Z plays overseer. He's not trying to liberate black people. He uses that for an image. He thinks he's above other black people. I want to know why you think that. I want to know what Jay-Z has said or done to make you feel like he believes that he is over black people. Andy, you were going to say something.
Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I defy Mike, so I ain't been rapping like common sense. I think that's the answer to that question.
No,
there.
It isn't.
Yes,
because
it is.
Because it's a line.
He's a
it's
hustler.
A hot bar.
He is
a
hustler.
hustler.
So he's going to, we live in a capitalistic society, so I'm going to capitalize on that. I'm sorry. And if that means I'm going to step on our people's toes, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say it.
But here's the thing, aren't they all capitalists? If they're involved in this to move, I'm all the hip hop guys.
Common, you can say he's a capitalist, right? But he's not going to step on anybody's toes. And the product that I'm going to present to you in the world is going to be something that's going to be uplifting. Unfortunately, I rock with Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? But I can, differentiate. He's going to give you the lower vibration type music. That's just what it is. Why? Because unfortunately it sells.
Okay. Lucas Frank says, why do you want Jay-Z to liberate you? You're a grown man. Liberate yourself.
Facts.
Okay. So I'm still waiting, DJ Black 909, to see what you have to say as to how Jay-Z thinks he's better than people. While we wait on that, let's get to Anthony Edwards. We mentioned All-Star this weekend. We know Anthony got a lot of drama going on, but he said he doesn't want to be the face of the NBA. And I think it's interesting that he's taking this approach. And I have a couple of thoughts as to why that may be. But let's listen to what he had to say.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. You can and will be that guy.
Well, I'm capable of being that guy,
go.
but I don't want to be that guy. Put it like that. I want to be the guy to just show up and hoop and just kill dudes and go home.
So on one hand, I feel you just want a ball. You all about the ball. But I also think part of that is the responsibility that comes along with being the face of the league. And if you aren't aware, Anthony has been active in those streets. A little bit. He has been out there. He has a child with his girlfriend recently. She is, he's in a Drea Jalen Green situation. She also has a child with rapper Chief Keef. He has another woman that is having his child or has had his child. This woman, also an older woman. She's 38. Anthony's 23? No age shaming. Do what you do. But she is also, because I told you guys, in case you forgot, they love a referral. I will not be explaining further. I will. But they love a referral. This young lady is also the parent to a child with rapper DaBaby. Right? Right? Not, I might be getting my babies mixed up, but one of the babies, right? One of the babies. So, one, you're doing a Drake thing. You're pursuing these hot girls out there that have already been stamped because, like I said, they love a referral. They love to know that this woman has also been vetted by someone else that is popular. I won't be taking further questions on that. But I think that has a lot to do with him not wanting to be the face of the league. I think he thinks that he'll have to be too squeaky clean. I think that he feels like there's too many restrictions that come along with that, and he doesn't want that responsibility. He just wants to hoop. And if that is the case, that's fair. But I do think that he is speaking prematurely. Summer says the NBA is a clown show right now. You weren't feeling the NBA All-Star Weekend?
It was a waste of time.
They got to let go of the dunk contest. You didn't like the new format for the game?
Hell no.
I couldn't keep up with it. What I did enjoy was how they incorporated Mr. Beast and that dude winning $100,000. Why didn't you like it?
I want to see the game.
You want to see the game? You just want to see the people play?
Yeah, they doing all the extras. Leave that for All-Star Saturday.
Did you like the mini concerts in between?
No, I did not.
No, you wanted them just to have the straight 48 minutes.
Yeah, they're doing too much to try to get people engaged, and I just think it's all wrong. And I blame the players.
For not being into it?
100%.
I mean, but I think it is a problem that is starting. We've talked about this. AAU, they're popular there. I don't think they have the same drive and heart as other players because the incentives don't seem to be the same.
And this player empowerment movement has killed the quality of the product.
Oh, because they move around too much?
They move around too much. There's no loyalty. I think, like you said, because they're already paid or whatnot, they don't feel the need to maybe, wake up at 4 a.m. and go practice. And you have people like Anthony Edwards who could literally be the star of the league or whatnot. He says he don't want it.
Yeah, that was a little disheartening to hear. But I really do think that it has a lot to do with what is happening in his personal life right now. And he's taking a little beating in the blogs about it. So I think he's trying to chill and fly under the radar. And then, when he gets something, maybe he'll feel different. Okay, so, listen. I appreciate you guys checking in with me Monday through Friday. I'm going to give you the tea with receipts. We like receipts. We like facts. We like to get into the real details. So make sure that you are back here tomorrow, 6 p.m., to lock in with me, And as always, I hope you have an amazing night. I forgot to tell you to be hydrated while you listen to this, but I'm sure you were. And I hope you didn't do too much this weekend, or maybe you just did just enough. Either way, make sure that you are rested back here tomorrow at 6 o'clock for more trending topics, more headlines from me, Jill Munroe. And coming up next, it's the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. I thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Even when we win, we gon' lose. Y'all got the same flows. I don't know who is who. We got the same watch. She don't got time to choose. We stuck in La La Land. We got the same rules. Y'all get still signing deals. Still, after all they done stole, for real. After what they done to Lauryn Hill. And y'all niggas is supposed to be trill. Guess we talk when you behind on your taxes and you pawned all your